Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. Derek Jones Talks Live doing a morning stream. Oh, man. Yeah, it's just called Wake and Bake in America. I just call it waking up. Today's stream will be about, if you having trouble reading the title, today's video is going to be about white supremacists and black white people. What is the difference? This is brought to you by the Saneter Conqueror, me. Yes, I will be saying that again. I will be referring to myself um, from here on out as the Saneter Conqueror. That's what I do. Yo, it's not something that I want to do all the time, but the shit is essential. What up, Leonard? The shit is essential, bro. So we got to do this shit, Leonard. But last night is what really, the last couple days is what prompted this video. Now, I had a situation where I had to check a white dude the other night. Being that I'm kind of like a lead at where I'm at, you know what I mean? I'm not necessarily their boss, but the boss checks with me to make sure everything's okay. Put it that way, if you're going to say that term. I don't like saying the boss because ain't nobody my goddamn boss. But the supervisor checks with me to make sure everybody shows up on time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because we doing a night shift project overnight. So a lot of times guys don't want to, aren't accustomed to working that shift. But I've done them all. I work morning shift, I work mid shift, and I could work overnight. Doesn't matter to me at all. We smoking together. Well, we must be because I'm damn sure smoking. But anyway, I had a little issue. Now, I've been asked before, you know what I mean? Bake the shit out of this shit. I've been asked before by people, especially when I was in Virginia, who aren't from Massachusetts and they don't know anything about it for real. And they'll say things like, man, ain't it a lot of white people up there? Or them white people up there are racist and blah, 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 blah. Now, anybody with common sense knows that racism is rampant everywhere. There's nowhere you could go and not find it. In anything that we call America, there's nowhere you can go. So when I hear that though, I be trying to inform people that I lived in the South and I lived in the Midwest and I'm from the Northeast. So I'm not telling everyone I'm a fucking expert or a guru, but what I'm telling you is I can relate to you the different styles of living and the different styles of living when it comes to being in the South, being in the Midwest, and being in the Northeast, when it comes to racism. Now, in the Northeast, though racism takes place, racism taking place doesn't appear to be or always seem to be so rampant. It's really never out in your face like that. And I'll tell you why. A lot of the times up here, a racist European will get they ass handed to them. And 9 times out of 10, it will come from another European. Because the people I'm speaking just from Boston, there's a lot of these white people have black children, or or especially grandchildren. All right. So that means families have been mingled. They meet the black half of their family now, and it's then the third. So it's up here, it's a lot of white people who have black children or grandchildren. So when you start doing that racist shit, that bigot shit, that shit don't be flying up here like that. Like, white people will check the fuck out of another racist white person in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Again, like I said, their nephew's black. Their sister has a half black son. So he's not going to sit there and let no fucking bigot white person talk about black people because, hey, my nephew's half black. That's how they roll up here. You know what I'm saying? So I had some experience at the job I was at, or at my job with it. And I have to first say that this individual was not from here. This individual was from Texas. So I don't know how rampant it is in Texas, but yeah, he was from Texas. And so living in Virginia, that shit was all over the place. In Virginia is like you could smell the racism in the air, the bigotry and the racism in the air, and prejudice. You could smell it in the air. You could see it in the air. You know what I'm saying? In the Midwest, not so much. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of teetering on the Northeast to a degree. You know, it's not as rampant as far as it opening in your face as it is in the South. So anyway, individual I was working with was probably high off some sort of narcotic, European dude. And I don't mean tree, what they try to list as narcotics, but high off some sort of drugs. And so this individual decided to start doing weird shit, and ended up making mistakes. So when he did this, I informed him, like, look, G, there's a night supervisor that's, of course, over me. So you need to go inform him about what the fuck it is you did, because I ain't really with that going to go tell shit. I'll just make you go tell yourself what you did. And so he comes back after he does it, and he starts saying shit like, well, first thing I asked him was, did you go tell him? And I'm just waiting to hear him say yes. So it's no longer I don't have anything else to do with the situation. You told him, it's over as far as I'm concerned. So whatever the fuck they do to you is on them. And it has nothing more to do with me. And so he says yes. So immediately I go back to doing what I was doing. And about 5 seconds later, he says, right after that, he says, yeah, I told him it was them black guys over there that did it. Now, I'm not real sensitive, man. I don't care about certain shit to a degree. I don't spaz or snap if a white person says nigger and all that stupid shit, because when I look at them, most of them that say it and do it are like the bottom of the barrel trash of Europeans. So I'm like, just look at this clown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't entertain nothing you said, let alone that. But me being me, you're just not gonna say certain shit around me. All right. So I look at him, and me and the other two brothers that I was working with, we all brothers except for him, look at him. And then they look at me. So then I say, what did you say, G? And he said, I'm just messing around, like that. And I was like, all right. Says it again. I'm talking about 30 seconds later. Like, yeah, but I told him one of them black guys. I was like, yo. So now I'm like, yo, didn't I just tell you, like, that shit is inappropriate, G? So as a matter of fact, just go ahead and don't say that shit no more. All right? Exact words. Don't say that shit anymore. He says to me, I mean, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought we were all adults here. And which I took the liberty of saying, we are adults. That's why I'm fucking telling you not to say that shit no more. Because we are adults. So anyway, Earl fucked himself. The rest of the night he went to the night guy that we were working with, the supervisor, and he's a European dude, European guy, actually Scandinavian to be specific. And he's in there, he's talking, and so the same guy, same European guy from Texas, Earl from Texas is his name, guys. Earl from Texas. You know what I mean? What up, D Prince? So Earl from Texas goes up to the supervisor, Scandinavian white dude, and says, yeah, there's a lot of contractors coming here. And so the guy was like, and I'm not gonna name him by name, my supervisor by name. So he's like, yeah, oh yeah, there's a lot of guys come in here. I see him all the time. You know, you get to know him, blah, 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 blah. Just bullshitting with him. He knows that Earl's a fucking junkie and whatever, but he's trying to be polite. All right. And so Earl says, how about them Mexicans and Puerto Ricans? I bet they try to come out here and try to steal a lot of contracts. And so, and I swear to God, y'all, on my kids, nigga, that this is what's that being said. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, bro. Like, I heard him. So I'm looking at the supervisor to see what he says. Now, he doesn't know that we hear him and see him because they're near the end of the aisle. And so he looks at Earl and says, what? And Earl repeats himself. Earl repeats himself and says, yeah, them Mexicans and well, you guys don't have a lot of Mexicans up here, do you? I know you got them Puerto Ricans. I know they're there. They come in here and try to steal a lot of contracts, don't they? And so the dude looks at him and says, yeah, there's a lot of Hispanic men and women. And he said men and women who, you know what I'm saying, who are contractors. And they come in and have contracts, but he was like, we got a lot of contractors. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them from Europe, a lot of them from America, a lot of them. He was like, what does Puerto Rican have to do with anything? So actually, he checked Earl in a degree. All right, to a degree. He checked them right then and there. Like, what? Because he said to him, I mean, I don't understand what being Puerto Rican has to do with getting contracts. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that have to do with anything? So moving on, time goes by. We end up finishing whatever. We come to find out that Earl won't be joining us anymore. You know, I was told to inform the people that my company that I work with, because we were sent to this place, and we don't normally work there. So we're basically helping them out or whatever. So like I said, I don't know any of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't generally work with them. We're all sent over there from our different branches and our companies to help this one store. So that's what we're doing. Like this week, that's what I was pretty much doing. And again, so I was told to because Earl comes from my branch. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't, Earl doesn't work with me, you know what I'm saying? But apparently he works at the same company I work at. I guess he probably works night shift, because I generally work days. And anyway, I was told to let them know, what happened, tell them what happened, what's going on, this, that, and the third. And to pretty much inform, them of how the night went, and that's pretty much what I did. And I was more than happy to do that, guys. I'm gonna actually be honest. I was more than happy to explain to them Earl's white supremacy tendencies and nature, and just the comments and et cetera, among other things that he was in there doing, among being a fucking walking meth head. All right. So Earl is getting replaced. All right. Earl is getting replaced. I'm excited about it. Pretty much everybody who's working with us, we're excited about it. And so when we get to work the other night, there's a brother that shows up. So I'm like, cool, word. We got a brother here, you know? He found out that something happened and why he ended up getting sent there. Tweak this. You know what I'm saying? Like Earl got the complexion, you know what I'm saying? To get jobs that niggas who ain't on that shit can't get. Because that's how what I'm wondering. More things than anything, I was wondering what the fuck was Earl even doing in there with me. What up, Tulsa? I'm wondering what the fuck he's even there for. Like, how the fuck a radioactive fuck nigga like you, first off, get this job for this amount of money and then get sent, you know what I'm saying, somewheres, you know what I'm saying, to another store representative. Like, why are you here, G? Why the fuck are you here, G? How are you here? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can, but apparently they have been wanting to get rid of him for a long time. So this was like one of the final straws, because the little racist jokes and shit he does, as apparently since he's been with the company, he's been doing that shit. So I don't think Earl is even going to be working with us anymore, period. Well, working with them, you know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't work with me. So anyway, racist Earl from Texas was replaced. Now, again, out of respect to the brother, I'm not going to say his name on no fucking YouTube platform, but I will talk about the situation. So this brother comes in, and right off the bat, when we're having a conversation, I start noticing shit. And one of the things about having this YouTube platform and doing what I do is like, it's a normal thing for me to be like that, but it's even more enhanced now because I actually use it more, because I started using it for YouTube. So I started to notice that this dude, he'll ask you questions, you'll go to give an explanation, and within a minute of you speaking, it never lasts a minute, meaning you can never talk for a solid 60 seconds without him interrupting you. For whatever the reason. I don't give a fuck what the reason is. Sometimes it was the same reason, sometimes it was different reasons. But the fact of the matter is, I began to notice, like, wait a minute, I never even get to speak for like a solid 60 seconds before you're interrupting, asking other questions on top of other questions on top of other questions. So as far as I'm concerned, when people start doing that, I'm like, oh, you one of those. You don't listen very well. Okay, which is your business, you know what I'm saying? As long as you can take instructions when I ask you to, you know, whatever we got to perform here and I need you to handle that shit, as long as you can do that, I'm straight, G. Like, everything is everything. So anyway, we're working, we start talking. And another thing that I noticed about him, it was real, very quickly that I noticed this, is that he had a smartest guy in the room complex aura smell he was giving off to him. He was referring to things like technology in the future and scientific methods. And the one that he lost me on when we began to I began to engage him, because I knew what level of thinking he was on. Once he said it, he began talking about the GOP, aka the government, and he wasn't talking about it in the form of how real woke conscious people, whether you black, white, or whatever, already know that the government is a group of people who operate with you in a compulsory manner. Okay, it's either do this or else, do this or die, or have some undesirable circumstances placed upon your head from us. Okay, that's how they work. I'm just being factual. That's how they operate. So, I mean, in the basics, you know what I'm saying? I know you hear a lot of horse shit in the middle, but basically it's do what we say or else. So, he began having these conversations, talking about the GOP and how he thinks that people who focus on the Second Amendment shouldn't really be focusing on the Second Amendment, because there's other things that the other ways the Constitution is being violated. And this is a brother now, grown black man, like 40 something years old, right? And the Constitution shouldn't be violated, and blah 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 blah. And so he's talking mainly to me until our supervisor comes over. And I notice when the supervisor comes over, he doesn't speak to any of us at all. He'll try not to speak to any of us at all, especially when he thinks he's being intellectual. All right. So my supervisor is including everyone in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Well, mainly me, because I'm the only one who's chiming in. And so when he's continuing on about the GOP and how, we just need Washington, D.C. to start really working together, to try to blah, blah, blah. I said, bro, excuse me, but not to cut you off, man, but because I really meant to, but I was like, not to cut you off, man, but America is an oligarchy, yo. The United States, or what you call the United States of America, is a fucking oligarchy and nothing more. So when I said that, the supervisor was like, that's very perceptive of you, D. Like it actually makes sense, And so the coon, or the black white guy, mind you, y'all, I'm looking at him while I'm doing this, and yes, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm doing it on purpose. So mind you, I'm looking at him, and he's getting heated, and me and the brothers around, we're looking at each other, just cracking up. We've been cracking up all morning, yo, all night, all morning, because we're looking at him, and it's evident what you are and what you're doing. So I'm looking at him, and he's very he starts getting tense. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't expect me to say what I said. Let's say that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't expect me to say what I said. So long story short, our supervisor, he comes over, talks. All he does is really chat with us, and then he takes off. He's gone. So we're continuing to talk, and we're talking about history, and you guys know how I am about reading. He starts talking to me about history and when you read this and you read that, and Tesla this and Tesla that and all of that shit, just sounding like some fucking European man. Like, we don't talk about Tesla because we know that Tesla openly admitted that he learned about electricity, how to form it, how to make it cheap, all that shit like that, from studying the writings and the teachings of the Egyptians. He openly said that shit. So real black people, we don't play those games talking about Tesla and electricity. We talk about the Egyptians, who really were the first ones, as far as it being codified, written down somewhere, that these people were experimenting and doing this shit. So we don't talk like that. So it continues on till it gets to the point where he can't handle the conversation when we start talking about reading, because he was like, well, I disagree, because when you read, that's how. I was like, hold, dog. I said, you're counting to 5, starting with 3. You have to understand, you can't start saying when you read. We got to start from 0. Reading books, what are nothing but words put down on paper. Where do words come from? They generally come from the heads and mouths of people. Heads meaning the thought. So when you're reading books, G, all you're reading is somebody's opinion about some shit. You factually have no idea whether what they're saying, conveying to you in this book, is actually factual or not. You really don't know that, unless you go on another journey to confirm all the information that this person has put in his book. What's up, Zilla? Unless you are ready to do that, you do not know shit, and you're just going off opinions, because he was under the notion that reading books is factual knowledge, not opinion. And I was like, dog, the only time you read a book And this factual knowledge is generally like a how-to book. I don't care if it's how to perform surgery. That's a factual book given from experience of people actually applying something in real time and translating exactly what they did in real time to another person so that they could perform and do the same thing. Like, i.e., fixing a car or whatever, a book on changing a tire or whatever. Yes, those books are factual, but don't. And the reason why I started getting heated was because I don't like when people play games. Meaning, I said, dog, but you trying to muddy the waters. Like, we're talking about history and philosophy and things of that nature. You cannot historically take a book and say, you can't take a book and say it's historically accurate just because it's in a book. Like, it didn't come from somebody who chose to put it there. Well, okay, but when Egypt was uncovered, I'm like, first off, dog, what are you talking about? Do you realize that Egyptology originated with a married couple, a white dude and a white woman, who didn't even uncover, what was the number? They didn't even uncover 2% of what was actually ended up being discovered and excavated out of Egypt. But they were writing whole books about shit. So when you dealing with these white black people, who is worse to deal with, yo? Like, I'm literally listening to this dude and watching this motherfucker suck this fucking white dude's ass all night long. And the dude is a fucking Massachusetts dude. I don't know how white people are where y'all from, but the white people here, they're not retarded, dog. They're hip, meaning they're hip to what's going on. He's hip to you kissing his ass because it's 4 black men standing there, G. It's 4 black men standing here, and 3 of them are not kissing his ass. So it's apparent to him something's going on, nigga. It's apparent to him that you're going out of your way to fucking kiss this dude's ass, but I don't hear you having a conversation at all with the people who look like you. Not to mention, this individual has openly handed me basically, I'm not even going to go into all that. I'm not even going to in depth into the fact that this dude is in private conversations that we've had, like, yo, you're a very intelligent guy. I bet if the coon was standing there and heard him say that shit, that'd have hurt his feelings. And this is what we deal with. So when we start talking about white supremacy, yo, you got the same kind of fight dealing with the white black dudes and the white black women. He realized he was in the presence of a real life bona fide coon. Exactly, Leonard. I guarantee you, dog, that nigga got doo-doo chunks in his nose, yo. I guarantee you, yo, whatever that fucking dude ate for dinner, or lunch or dinner, if he had chicken noodle soup for fucking dinner, yo, that nigga got a chicken noodle soup shitty aroma all over his face, yo. Okay? All over his fucking face. I guarantee you. I mean, this dude's ass face was larger than this man's ass all night, yo. One can even say he was stroking his cock, yo, while with his face larger than his butthole. And that type of shit for me personally, y'all, is embarrassing. It's really embarrassing, yo. It's embarrassing because it's like, the dude knows what you're doing. So the fact that he knows what you're doing, and I am 1,000,000% positive that he knows what you're doing. It's embarrassing. It's hard. I don't even know what to say. I don't think I said like 3 words to this nigga. And I minimize it because when we're working, he's doing what he's doing, I'm doing what I'm doing. And when we all come together and work on certain projects together, it's the projects are simple. So it doesn't require us to have a whole lot of conversation. But I can't bring myself to even speak to this nigga, yo. I think that's how, and I'm getting worse and worse the older I get with that. Like when I run into black men and women like that, I really physically and mentally cannot bring myself to even speak to these people in any manner. Like if a car was coming and they were walking, I probably wouldn't say nothing and didn't see the car. I don't even think I'd say nothing. I can't talk to them. I don't understand how you openly admit it has to be what people call self-hate. It has to be self-hate. Self-hate is the only thing that I can think of that would allow you to go in front of another race and literally suck that man's ass all night long, yo. And let this individual sit here and clearly see how you are basically brown nosed until the cows come home, G. Not only are you doing this, you can't even have a conversation with the other brothers around you when they have no problem having a conversation with each other and him and the fucking supervisor. You are the odd one out. I was like, dude, he was upset. And let me finish the part that I played in it. You know, I'll be honest. Because once it kind of got heated, I was like, look, man, like I done been through this shit before. I do this shit. I could tell what level you are mentally, G, by the shit that you say. When you start referring to the GOP and slavery and you're not pointing out all the other things that are omitted, when you start saying things like Hillary Clinton's record as a politician was such and such, dog, those are what are called talking points. Okay, those are those are things that Wolf Blitzer says and Tucker Carlson and all these people. Those are things they say. Roland Martin and shit like those. Those people regurgitate national European put out talking points. That's why you can't handle real conversations. Niggas like that can't handle a real conversation. Hold on, y'all. All right. You can't handle something real. So when a person like me or any other brother, sister like me comes around and you try that smartest man in the room complex shit, that's initially why I started getting at you, because I can't, when motherfuckers do that shit, I immediately go after them because I can't stand it. Because I can't stand it because I know the truth. And the truth is you don't know shit. All you know is what someone told you. And you'll tell me that you read it. And I'll tell you, dipshit. Reading is the same thing as listening to somebody talk. Instead of using word on their mouth, they're using a pen and paper. They're using words on pen and paper instead of words out of a fucking mouth. So the fact that you have not grown up consciously and intellectually to realize that yet, that you keep talking about synonyms as though they're not, or as though they're something completely different, like the nigger and the black thing. Don't call me no nigger, I'm a black man, you fucking clown. Nigger's a derivative from negro, which literally means black, you fucking asshole. Why would you be upset about a synonym? You're only upset because you don't know. And that's where it always goes. I'm like, dude, I understand where your level is. I hear you talking. All I got to do is listen to the words that you say. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're still in that train of thought. You haven't evolved out of that yet. So why would I think you're fucking some sort of intellectual? But getting back to the root of it all, who who would you rather deal with, people? Would you rather deal with the black white guy or Earl from Texas? Now, me personally, I'm gonna pick the brother, even though he's retarded. I ain't gonna say shit to him, but I'll still pick him. Because somebody like Earl, or have, you know what I mean, I won't have a job no more. Because you're gonna say something weird, and I ain't gonna give you a chance to apologize. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. Because I don't play those weird jokes and weird bullshit. And you probably the type of motherfucker who it doesn't really matter. You're still gonna do it until you get punched in the face. And I'm trying my best, y'all, not to do that, yo. I said when I moved home, I said, damn, man, moving back to Boston, getting ready to move back out here, yo. I already know, dog, I'm gonna have to fucking gotta start doing my little push-ups again and getting in shape. Cause eventually, yo, I'm gonna have to fucking knock the shit out of somebody. Cause that's how the people are here. Eventually, you're gonna end up slapping the shit out of somebody in Boston, man. Cause they're gonna say some weird shit. They're gonna give you attitude. They're gonna like, it's just gonna happen, yo. But I'm older now and I try to deal with shit differently, you know. I don't like reacting in that manner anyway because it's just, I always feel bad afterwards because I always feel like I should have handled it mentally another way without physical violence. That's why I'm not real big on that shit. But with me not being big on it, it still happens routinely. Like as soon as somebody says some extra weird shit, I'll be like on that verge of, here we go. I'm gonna have to slap the shit out of this nigga. And I really don't want to. That's why I generally don't. But here, they pull it out of you. But who would you rather have? Earl from Texas? Would you rather have Earl from Texas, who's in here pretending that he's telling black jokes as a joke? Saying shit like once he got caught doing some shit, saying he was gonna go tell the managers that it was those black guys over there, like that's not a norm in America where black men end up beaten, shot, and imprisoned and shit wrongfully with no cause just for that very thing. Some Europeans saying it was those black guys over there. Is that not a reality? Fuck makes you think I'm gonna let some fucking dirty fucking meth head, some dirty meth head tell some jokes like that, nigga? I don't even let that meth head in California get away with nothing when I don't feel like letting them. I don't even let that happen. But what would you rather have, Earl from Texas or the black white guy? Earl from Texas like to tell black jokes. He would love to say nigger and tell nigger jokes, but he realizes what'll happen if he says it, so he doesn't say it. He tries to slickly do it in another way. Or would you have the white black guy? And I gotta inform y'all about this. Once the black white guy was informed on what Earl did, and this is on everything I am, my word, on my kids and everything. Once he was informed, why he was there, replacing an employee who's probably no longer going to end up being with the company, period. He says, once we told him what happened, oh man, I mean, it wasn't that bad. Now y'all can make y'all decision. All right. Now you can make your decision. Once he found out why Earl was gone and that Earl had been going through the company telling racist jokes and all that shit like that, his exact words verbatim were, I mean, that's not that bad. That's not really that bad. He was probably just joking. I was like, really, yo? Let's ignore all the other variables that point to him not really joking, motherfucker, and really being serious, but trying to mask it as a joke. Let's ignore all that shit. Do y'all remember? If y'all are not familiar, yo, you could go to my shirt stores, man, DJT Apparel, and all those stores, or the links in the description, I think, on this page too. And you can see that I make coffee mugs, I make sweaters, I make t-shirts, stickers, called Coon. Okay. And I call Coon caping the opinions of our oppressors, oppressing our people. That's why it's Coon with a bunch of O's. Coons are black people, all right, who cape the opinions of our oppressors, who are oppressing our nation, our people. They don't want to talk about real shit. They want to talk about slavery light. They want slavery light. They want to sit around and entertain white people and thinks that means something in humanity and on the planet, and then your soul's gaining in any ways. Anything. There's no gain you get from that. But with them, it's a gain. Like this dude literally would not engage us in conversation, especially me. There was no, because he can't talk at me. He's a talk at her. You know, he's one of those people who like to talk at you because he has the smartest guy in the room complex. And that doesn't work around me because you don't know shit. You should have seen his face when I hit him with his name and his age. Like, how the fuck do you know your name? How do you know that? Somebody told you that. Everything you go off in this planet damn near is belief and acceptance. You just accept this shit as the truth or reality. It is what it is. But yo, some people would take Earl, and I tell you why. If I took Earl, why I would take Earl, though I would take the brother over him. But if I took Earl first, why I would do so would be because I like my racism open. I don't know how y'all like yours, but when you like that, I like you to be like that. I personally like that shit. I'd be like, nah, talk that shit. Talk that racist shit. Talk that racist shit. So I know you talking it. Then I know who and what you are. I don't have any problems. I don't have any issues identifying who you are. I don't have to be fooled by you. By giving you the benefit of the doubt as a regular human and assuming that you're not a walking bigot and you know what I mean, some more shit, nigga. I'd rather have that shit known than to be around a brother who won't even have a conversation with you, but a fucking stick his nose, or the other brothers, because you don't have to talk to me. I'd rather you did anyway. You're retarded. But at least the other brothers, nothing, no conversation, no nothing. When they're working and they're doing something, you're not really helping. As soon as that white dude comes over there, he's working harder than a motherfucking he's working harder than them niggas that was chained up with Django in the beginning. Like them, like you was the hardest working slave. You was that nigga was working hard as them chicks in that kitchen at Candyland. They was working hard. Like this nigga literally, he literally breaks a sweat when this dude comes around. It's just embarrassing, man. That shit's so embarrassing, man. And it's noticeable. And it's noticeable. When someone gives them instruction, well, not really me, because I don't play that shit. Not at work. Like when you come to work and something got to get done and somebody's paying us to do it, paying me to do it, which means I gave this person my word that I would take care of this task for a certain amount of money that we agreed upon. Like, I don't play at work. Like, you can kick rocks, nigga. I'll fire the shit out of you. I'll make a phone call like, we'll take care of the rest of the night, but get this individual the fuck up out of here. I don't do none of that shit at work, nigga. Like, you either gonna come to work or get the fuck out of here, because I'm not about to do the work and you get paid. So basically, I just got you paid. Like, nah, because you might as well, you need to break off some of that bread. Like, straight like that. And I mean that shit like straight like that, So that's how I am about that shit. But when you can't work with people, you know what I mean? You don't want to do what them niggas ask you to do. You don't really want to help them. And when this dude comes around, you're the most helpful fucking nigga in the history of helpful niggas. Like, it's amazing, yo. It's amazing. Like, I've been going through this like basically all week since Sunday. We at Wednesday now. Since Sunday night, 9:00 Sunday night. I'm debating which is worse. A goddamn racist ass alcoholic meth head who, well, at least when he was there, I had something to laugh at. You know what I'm saying? Like, this motherfucker was walking around opening shit. Like, and when I just said what I just said, I mean literally, he was walking around, just opening shit, like opening packages and shit. And niggas is looking at this nigga like, yo, Earl, what the fuck are you doing? Like, yo, that's for sale. Why are you opening? Oh shit, man. This company's got a lot of this shit. See how they think? This company's got a lot of fucking money, man. Fucking worrying about this shit, man. Like, wow, G. In most places, man, they call that stealing. Like, you might as well buy that shit. You opening it. This motherfucker spills paint, y'all. Spills some fucking paint. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? But anyway, that happened. This nigga, he goes to clean his shit up. He busts open some shit that looked like curtains. Like, in a package, he opens this shit and starts wiping this shit off his hand. I'm like, yo, like, how do you get a job making this money and you're here and you're high and drunk up and high? That means whoever you was working for before, they were just allowing that shit because they, you know what I'm saying? Basically just allowing that shit. Because the shit I'm describing, nigga, you supposed to be somewhere making $6 an hour, motherfucker, at some fucking whatever the fuck. Like you, that's what type of person you are. You should be somewhere making $10 an hour, picking up fucking trash at a guy who at a fucking soccer stadium or some bullshit. But I'm debating on which was worse, this nigga or the black white guy. The black white guy doesn't talk. He puts his earplugs in his ears when he's in the presence of black people. He puts his earplugs in his ears when he's in the presence of black people. As soon as that white dude come by, what up, Darren? As soon as that white dude come by, he takes them shits out. When the brothers is over there working and doing shit, he doesn't help them at all. He stands off to the side. Sometimes he'll pull his phone out. As soon as that fucking white dude comes over there, that nigga's breaking a sweat. Disgusting. This nigga acted like he was deep whilst talking about Hillary Clinton versus the GOP. I was like, what the monkey's fuck? Like, nigga, like, who gives a rat's ass about that fake ass theatrical shit? Who doesn't know in 2018 that that shit is theatrical? Hell, when they go into fucking campaigns, what do they have? The biggest trouble that they have on campaigns in the last 20 years is what? That motherfuckers know that this shit is fake. Motherfuckers know that Donald Trump really doesn't hate Hillary Clinton. Motherfuckers know that Bill Clinton and George Bush really didn't dislike each other. Motherfuckers knew all of this shit, dog. Motherfuckers knew that Mitt Romney and Obama are friends. Why are you talking about this shit as a grown black man in an adult setting? Why are you performing like that, my nigga? Why are you performing like this? Second cousin, basically, yeah. Allegedly. How do you do that, man? How you live like that, y'all? For real, y'all. As brothers and sisters, man. Like, how do you? I don't even know what to say. Shit is disgusting. And I endured this all night long. All night long. Just horrible. Pathetic. Disgusting. Why I tell you guys I have a hard time even speaking with them. I have a hard time talking to the coon. A lot of times, the coon is the most detrimental thing to our. I want to know what's we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about that. What's worse, man? For real, is the coon worse, or are these young wild niggas out here gang banging worse? Which ones are worse? Because the coons openly make these people think that, oh, this shit these niggas saying about police brutality, oh, this shit people saying about systemic racism, which is causing wealth gaps and things of that nature. Oh, this thing that these people saying, it's not that serious. It's not that true. That's what the coon does. They allow that shit, these people's egos to be stroked to feel that they can continue it. You gotta add some O's to that coon. Leonard, you gotta add some O's to that coon, yo. Because coons, they cape the opinions of our oppressors oppressing our nation. That's what they do. That's a coon. A coon wants to treat you like the people he coon for. He wants to talk to you, your black ass, the same way. That's what he thinks in his head. You black ass, I want to talk to you. Like, what the fuck? Just insane. Derek Jones Talks Live, y'all. This has been our morning chat. This has been your morning chat with the man who, the conqueror of Saneter. It's my new name, y'all. Shame TV Eastwatch, aka Derek Jones Talks Live sometimes. Sometimes we Shame TV too. We definitely the real fraud catching department. Shame TV Uncut, go subscribe. But what we're known as well, as the conqueror of Saneter. I expose in the building. There's a house of Kunches. The house of Kunches has risen, and we must knock that one down. Coons, caping the opinions of our oppressors, pressing our nation. That's what coons do. There ain't a whole long, drawn out shit to this. That's what they do. That's why I have to call them out. The coon is detrimental to our society. They are a hazard. They are, in my opinion, just as much to blame as gangbanging niggas for black people having reputation. Not necessarily being in a gang, but what I mean is street life bullshit. Not you busting your gun in defense of your family, your life, and your property, but just because on some meager ass, fake ass street cred or street block that you don't own, that when the cops come, all you niggas run off that shit. Anybody who's shooting anybody for one of these is you detrimental to our society. You're a cancer. You're a hazard.